Do the standard Audi Q7's 250 HP and 6.5 second 0 to 100 kph time not quite do it for you? Well, then you might just be interested in this version of the Q7. It's called the SQ7. Its 4-litre twin-turbo diesel engine makes 435 horsepower and it will race to 100 kph in just 4.9 seconds. Let's take a close look at this blue whale. We've driven the standard Q7 extensively, so I'm going to get straight to what makes the SQ7 special. The list starts with the engine. As mentioned, it's a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 diesel. But the really cool techie bit of this engine is its use of the world's first electric-powered compressor. This compressor works like a turbo, except it's driven by an electric motor rather than the flow of exhaust gases. And this means it can force-feed air into the combustion chamber at extremely low engine speeds. As engine speeds build and the first of the sequential turbos come on stream, the electric compressor switches off. Audi claims this arrangement relegates turbo lag to the history books. Having driven the SQ7, I can tell you they're onto something. The standard Q7 is no slow coach, but this is something else. The electric powered compressor does its bit at low RPMs. From about say 1000 RPM on, you have great access to power. Then the regular turbos kick in, and what you get is a wide power band. By 3000 RPM or so, you've already got 900 Nm to play with. That is some serious power. The sub 5 second 0 to 100 kph time seems entirely believable, and this figure puts the SQ7 in the big league of brawny, petrol-chugging performance SUVs. The SQ7 always feels alert with no let-up in the way it pulls from 1000 RPM right up to 5000 RPM. The 8-speed gearbox is also indulgent as it lets you downshift quite aggressively. Crazy stuff. But, before I get carried away by the performance, a word on how the SQ7 sounds. The SQ7 can be as civil as the regular Q7 when you want it to be, but just fiddle around with the settings, get the exhaust to dynamic, the note just changes. At low RPMs, it's this nice deep burble, and then when you press down on the accelerator, it gets louder and louder and grows into a roar. The engine is just mega, but what else makes the SQ7 special? Well, it features electromechanical active anti-roll bars that minimize roll at high speeds and even help low-speed ride comfort. Uniquely, there's a dedicated electric subsystem with its own 48-volt lithium-ion battery to power the anti-roll bars and the electric compressor. The SQ7 I'm driving also features a sports differential and all-wheel steering. So, how does it all come together? The SQ7 does feel slightly sharper than the regular Q7. All the tech does bring in a bit more agility, but at the end of the day you do know that this is still a very large car. It doesn't feel as top heavy as some of its rivals can, but you don't get that final feeling of connection that you'd want from a sports SUV. The steering still feels a bit distant. That's something that takes away from the experience, but grip levels are just superb and allow you to carry massive speed just about everywhere. Finally, how do you tell if the Q7 that whizzed by you was an SQ7? There's not all that much, but things unique to the SQ7 include its different air inlets and the silver housing for the mirrors. And if you don't notice the quad rectangular exhausts at the end, you'll definitely hear the rumble they produce. On the inside, the SQ7 is identical to the stock Q7 in design, but opt for aluminium trim here, an Alcantara lining there, and what you'll end up with will be a rather sporty cabin. The SQ7 gets all the bells and whistles you'd want, and yes, it is available with a third row of seating as well. The SQ7 is headed to India by Diwali this year. We hear it will cost about 25 lakhs more than the 45 TDI, which means you can expect a price in the region of 1 crore rupees ex-showroom. In all, it may not be the ultimate performance SUV, but the SQ7 sure is the ultimate version of the Q7 you can buy.